As a high schooler, I always find myself fighting with procrastination when I do my homework. And from like an early stage on, I want to get rid of this procrastination and laziness before I head on to like a bigger stage in my life where I'm not constantly nagged at by my parents to do my work, because that's like my driving factor. And so how can I get rid of this procrastination?
없앨 생각이 별로 없잖아요.
But you don't really want to get rid of it, do you?
Maybe, kind of.
네, 그렇게 미뤄도 뭐 사는데 지장이 없으니까 그냥 이렇게 가는 거예요.
So, just you're procrastinating because it's not really truly affecting, how you live.
I feel like the procrastination itself kind of like gets worse as time goes on, and I find myself like doing a lot of work right in the last second, or like just like being lazy overall, and like like for example like sleeping late or like trying to sleep in and stuff like that. And so like what are some initial steps I can take so that I don't keep dealing with this procrastination?
뭐 인생이 원래 그렇게 다 대부분 다 그렇게 삽니다.
Because most people live that way.
큰 문제 아니야 내가.
So it's not a huge problem.
근데 만약에 그렇게 해서 만약에 자기가 미루면 죽는 일이 생긴다든지 이러면 사람은 다 미루지 않습니다. 그냥 합니다.
But the fact, if the consequences of your procrastination is like you're going to end up dying, for example, right? If it's that extreme, then you will not procrastinate, right?
자기가 지금 고민은 미루는 문제가 고민이 아니고 미루면서 그 미룬 결과를 안 받아들이는 거예요.
So the real nature of your question or the problem you're facing is not the fact that you want to stop procrastinating. You want to not have to deal with the consequences of your procrastination.
자기가 미뤘으면 벼락치기를 하든지 성적이 떨어지는 거를 감수해야 돼요.
But if you do procrastinate, you have to be willing to accept the consequences of your procrastination, whether it's bad grades or whether you have to cram everything at the last moment.
결과를 받아쓰기를 싫으면 지금 미루지 말아야 합니다.
And if you don't want to deal with those consequences, then you have to stop procrastinating.
그러니까 자기가 정해서 오늘 할 일은 오늘 한다. 하고 나서 잔다. 이렇게 정해서 지켜나가면 되죠.
So all you have to do is just make a rule for yourself that you will do what's due today, and you won't go to sleep until you do that.
습관이라는 것은 했던 대로 계속 가려가는 관성이 있습니다.
But basically, this is habits, right? All habits has a tendency to want to persevere.
그냥 두든지.
So you just let your habits go.
그게 손해가 너무 많이 난다.
But if that habit creates much loss to you,
그걸 멈춰야 되겠다.
then you feel like you have to stop.
그러면 우리가 움직이는 물체를 멈추려면 힘을 가해야 되잖아요.
But if you want to, in physics, if you want to stop something that's in motion, you have to apply energy to it.
그러면 저항을 받게 됩니다.
And that creates resistance.
자기는 대부분 그 저항을 못 이겨서 포기해버리잖아요.
And usually you tend not to be able to overcome that resistance, so you give up.
즉 그 저항을 이겨내야 되는 거.
So you have to overcome that resistance to change your habits.
근데 왜 그러면 그걸 저항을 못 이겨내느냐?
Then why can you not overcome that resistance?
저항을 받을 때 겉으로는 이겨야지 하지만 마음속에서는 이래 안 하고도 사는데 지장 없다. 막 그냥 자자 이렇게 되기 때문에 그래요.
And that's the reason that you can't overcome that resistance is that on the outside you're telling yourself that you want to overcome these habits. You want to change your habits, but it's really deep down internally you're saying that I can live with this. This is fine.
그러니까 정확하게 얘기하면 공부가 하기 싫은 것이 마음이고 공부를 해야 된다 하는 것이 생각이에요.
So basically, to be more precise, the fact that you don't want to study is actually your really subconscious original kind of intention, but you think to yourself that you want to study or you have to study.
그러니까 게으르지 말아야 한다, 공부를 해야 한다 하는 것이 공부를 하고 싶다, 게으른 걸 멈추고 싶다 이렇게 싶다라고 표현하는 게 마음 같지만은 엄격하게는 그거는 자기의 의무예요. 공부를 해야 된다, 일찍 일어나야 된다, 게으르지 말아야 된다. 이렇기 때문에 항상 마음은 무의식으로부터 일어나고 이 생각은 의식에서 일어나기 때문에 이 싸움에서는 막 90% 이상 무의식이 이깁니다.
So that your conscious wants, right, to want to study more, to not be lazy, to not procrastinate, those are your thoughts, right, that comes from your conscious minds. But your subconscious, which wins out 90% of the time, really does not want to study, right? Really wants to be lazy. So that's why you never kind of manage to change your habits.
첫째는 이 싸움에 질 확률이 높으니까 포기해버리고 졸리면 자고 미루고 성적 떨어지고 뭐 그 결과를 받아들인다 이렇게도 편안합니다. 그렇게 받아들여도.
So the first and the easiest strategy to deal with this is realize that you will not win this battle and just say, you know what, I will live with bad grades and I will live with the consequences of my procrastination and allow peace of mind by just like conceding.
그런데 그렇게 되면 손해가 많이 나니까 나는 이 게으름을 막아야 되겠다 그러면 아무리 졸려도 안 자고 아무리 그만두고 싶어도 밀어붙이고 이렇게 해야 됩니다.
But if you want to decide, if you decide that the loss that comes from that acceptance is too much, then no matter what happens, then if you decide that you want to study, then you have to study. You have to stick to the rules you create for yourself.
졸리면 자야지 하지 말고 졸리구나 하기 싫어하구나 어떻구나 하고 알 뿐 정해진 대로 그냥 해나갑니다.
So if you become sleepy in that, with that decision, do not go to sleep. Say that you just observe that you are sleepy, but nevertheless do the works that you promise yourself to do.
어떤 선택을 하느냐의 문제지 그것은 어느 게 좋다는 게 아닙니다. 엄마가 보기에는 공부하는 게 더 좋지만은 인생에 있어서는 좋고 나쁜 건 없습니다. 이 선택을 하면 이런 결과가 나고요. 저 결과를 받으려면 이런 선택을 해야 된다는 것만 있을 뿐입니다.
So in life, there's only choices, right? There's no good or bad choice. But once you choose, you just have to choose with the awareness of the consequences and willingness to accept those consequences. But it's only about choices, not a good or bad choice.
지금 자기가 이렇게 살아간다는 것은 이 선택이 좋았기 때문입니다.
And the fact that you're here now asking me a question means that your choices have worked out so far.